You have big dreams. You may imagine yourself succeeding. You can see the life you want so clearly that it nearly feels real. However, when it comes to actually performing the work, you freeze. You wait. You persuade yourself that tomorrow will be different. And the next day, you repeat the process. You're not alone in this. There's a huge group of folks that are just like you. Ambitious but lethargic, full of ideas, but stuck in one place. The hardest part is that you are aware of your potential for greater achievement. You can't seem to make yourself move. This does not imply being a bad person. This is not about a lack of intelligence or talent. This is about psychology. This is about the patterns in your brain that have developed throughout time. The good news is that once something is built, it can be modified. But first, you must grasp what is going on inside your head. You need to understand why you are the way you are. Then you must decide whether or not you are willing to take action. Allow me to offer a picture of what your life is probably like right now. You awaken with high intentions. Today is the day you finally start. Today, you'll work on the project. Today, you'll take the first step toward your goal. But then you check your phone. You scroll for several minutes. Those few minutes stretch into an hour. Before you know it, half the day has passed. You convince yourself that you'll start after lunch. Lunches come and go. You're feeling fatigued. You feel unmotivated. You promise yourself that you'll start tomorrow when you have more energy. And the cycle continues. At night, you lie in bed, feeling guilty. You're disappointed with yourself. You realize you squandered another day. You vow yourself that tomorrow will be different. You create plans in your thoughts. You feel energized for a brief moment, but when tomorrow finally arrives, the motivation is gone, and you're back to browsing, evading, and doing anything other than what you know you should do. This pattern has been going on for months, if not years, and you're starting to worry if it'll ever change. Here's what's going in your brain. You're constantly in disagreement. One half of you wants to accomplish big things. That part has enormous dreams. That section establishes aims. That portion envisions triumph. But another part of you prefers to avoid discomfort. That component seeks safety. That part seeks ease. That portion wishes to protect you from failure, rejection, and hard effort. And just now, the portion that wants comfort is winning. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is wired to avoid pain while seeking pleasure. This is basic human psychology. When you think about working toward your goals, your brain perceives it as a danger. It recognizes effort. It sees uncertainty. It recognizes the possibility of failure. Your brain does not like any of those things. As a result, you have a more convenient option. Scroll through your phone, watch videos, play games, or do whatever makes you happy at the moment. Your brain rewards you with a rush of dopamine. You feel slightly better. The ache subsides, and your brain learns that neglecting your goals helps you feel better. So it continues to encourage you to avoid. This isn't laziness, this is survival mode. Your brain believes it is protecting you. But here's the problem. While your brain shields you from temporary anguish, it also steals your long-term enjoyment. Every day you avoid your goals, you develop an avoidance habit. Every day you choose comfort over action, you are teaching your brain that your dreams are unimportant. And every night you lie in bed feeling guilty. You reinforce the notion that you are not good enough. You're starting a loop that will become increasingly difficult to interrupt as time passes. Let me tell you what you're probably thinking right now. You believe that you are simply not disciplined enough. You believe that successful people have some special attribute that you do not possess. You believe that if you had more motivation, things would change. But that's not how it works. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. Motivation cannot be the foundation for a successful life. You require something stronger. You need structure. You need systems. You must recognize that discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you develop one single decision at a time. Here's another issue you're undoubtedly dealing with. Perfectionism. You have such a clear idea of what success looks like that anything less seems like failure. So, you wait. You wait until you have a great strategy. You wait till you're ready. You wait till the conditions are optimum, but perfection never arrives. Ready never arrives. The ideal never comes. And while you wait, life passes you by. Perfectionism does not imply having high standards. Perfectionism is fear masquerading as excellence. Your brain is giving you an excuse not to start. Because if you never start, you'll never fail. Allow me to be honest with you about something. You're terrified. You are frightened that if you attempt and it does not work out, you will have to admit that you may not be as special as you imagined. Perhaps your ideas aren't as good as they appear. Perhaps you are not capable of achieving your dreams. The terror is paralyzing. It's easy to remain in the fantasy. It is easier to continue dreaming, planning, and picturing without actually putting those aspirations into action, because as long as you do not try, you may believe that you could succeed if you wanted to. But deep down, you know that belief is hollow. Here's what you need to comprehend. Failure is not the opposite of success. Inaction is the reverse of success. When you fail, you can learn something. When you do nothing, you don't learn anything. Every successful person you respect has failed more than you have tried. The difference was that they kept moving. They took imperfect action. They started before they felt prepared. They gained momentum via consistency, not motivation. That is exactly what you need to accomplish. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity and start building momentum right now. So, how can you break the cycle? How do you make the transition from dreamer to doer? It begins with accepting a difficult fact. You will not feel like doing it. You are unlikely to wake up full of energy and enthusiasm to tackle difficult tasks. That's not how the brain works. You will have to do it regardless. You will have to take action even if you don't feel like it, especially when you're not feeling like it, because every time you act despite resistance, you are reprogramming your brain. You're teaching it that discomfort isn't dangerous. You are developing the discipline muscle. Begin small. Seriously, don't expect to transform your entire life overnight. That's your perfectionism talking again. Choose one tiny thing that will help you achieve your objective. Perhaps it works for 15 minutes. Perhaps it is drafting a paragraph. Perhaps it is making a single phone call. It doesn't matter how small. What's important is that you do it, and then do it again tomorrow and the next day. You're not aiming to be flawless. You're attempting to be consistent because consistency is what creates habits, which are what create lives. Here is the secret that no one tells you. Discipline feels awful at first. Your brain will resist you. It will offer you every possible justification. It will inform you that you are exhausted, that you deserve a break, and that you can resume tomorrow. And you'll have to ignore it all. You will have to sit down and complete the work, even if every part of you wants to run away. But here's what happens. If you do that several times, it becomes easier. Not easy, but easier. Your brain begins to understand that the discomfort will not kill you. It begins to adapt, and ultimately the opposition becomes muted. You also need to adjust your environment has more control on you than you know. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. If your desk is disorganized, you will feel dispersed. If you are surrounded by distractions, you will become distracted. This isn't a willpower issue. This is a design problem. Successful people do not have more willpower than you. They have improved systems. They remove temptations. They create environments conducive to concentration. They organize their lives so that the default activity is productive. Turn alerts off. Place your phone in another room. Clean your desk. Set aside a certain time each day for focused work and treat it as sacred. Tell them not to bother you. Close all superfluous tabs. Remove anything that isn't necessary. Make it harder to be distracted than to concentrate. Your future self will thank you for this, since removing a distraction means removing a decision. Every decision you don't have to make frees you energy to focus on your genuine goals. Let me discuss something you might not want to hear. You should quit ingesting so much content. You're undoubtedly watching videos about success. You are reading articles on productivity. You're listening to podcasts about motivation. And all of this feels like progress, but it isn't. It is another type of avoidance. Your brain is deceiving you into believing that learning is the same as doing. You don't need any further information. You already understand what you need to do. You need to stop learning and start doing. After seeing this video, Go do something that will help you grow forward. Only one thing. Here's another unpleasant fact. Accept that you will first produce poor quality work. Your first attempt at anything will be bad. That is normal. That's part of the process. Every master started out as a beginner. Each masterpiece began as a rough draft. You will not develop something fantastic on your first try. And that's okay. You're not aiming to be amazing right now. You're attempting to get started. You're trying to develop the habit of turning up. Quality comes later. Consistency comes first. Let me tell you what will happen if you start taking action. You're going to encounter resistance. You'll want to quit. You'll have days where you go back into old habits, and that's okay. Progress isn't a straight line. You're going to goof up. You are going to skip days. You're going to fail. Successful people do not let a poor day turn into a bad week. They do not use one error as an excuse to give up. They acknowledge the setback and get back on track. That's the secret. Just keep coming back. You should also quit beating yourself up. Guilt doesn't motivate you. Shame will not make you better. Every time you lie in bed, blaming yourself for wasting another day, you exacerbate the situation. Instead, engage in self-compassion. Talk to yourself like you would to a friend. You botched up today. Okay, tomorrow's a new day. You did not complete everything you had planned. That's okay. Do one thing right now. Forgiveness does not mean letting yourself off the hook. Forgiveness is about allowing yourself to try again without the burden of past failures. Here's what you should remember. You are not lazy. Lazy does not describe who you are. You've been lazy, and there is a difference. Who you are is someone with dreams, potential, and the ability to adapt. You've been avoiding discomfort since your brain hasn't yet learned that discomfort promotes progress. You now understand the psychology that drives your patterns, and knowing is the first step toward change. Ambition without action is merely dream, and wishing will not result in the life you desire. However, activity without self-compassion is not sustainable. You must be disciplined enough to act, even when you do not want to. And you must have the compassion to forgive yourself when you fall short. That balance is what creates long-term transformation. So, here is what I want you to do. Stop watching change-related videos and start being the change. Stop planning your life and begin living it. Stop waiting for motivation and begin developing discipline. Take one modest step today, and your brain will learn that you are serious this time. And if you take another tiny step tomorrow, your momentum will increase. Before you know it, you won't recognize the person you once were. You've spent a lot of time visualizing the life you want. It is now time to build it. Not someday. Not when you're ready. Now you only need to get started and keep going. One day at a time, one decision at a time, and one modest act at a time. This is how lives change. That is how dreams come true, via little, persistent choices that accumulate over time. You are capable of far more than you have shown yourself, but nobody will do it for you. Nobody will save you from yourself. You are the only person who can break the cycle. You're not broken. You are not hopeless. You're merely locked in a pattern, and patterns can be altered. It won't be easy. It will be uncomfortable, but it will be worthwhile, because on the other side of this struggle lies the version of yourself that you have always desired to be. The version that does not only dream, but actually does. Go be that person who starts correctly.